is Goop.
Ah,
Say it
man.
with me. Goop.
Goop.
That's the word for the day. What's going on? Down in Sports Talk in the building, Wednesday night edition. We're in the midst of celebrating, man. It's been a year that we've been hitting y'all with good sports conversation. None of that
Yes.
hyperbole. No carnival barkeration going on in this dancery. I am left-handed at RM Des on Twitter. That's my Cody back in the building. All right. Yada Bears in the house. She was out scouting the Eastern Conference, you know what I mean, for her Philadelphia 76ers. Don't tell
Gotcha.
nobody, though. What's goody? What's good, Yada? What's the deal?
Nothing, just making sure I don't got no goop on my hands or nothing, I don't want to get tossed. I don't
Right.
want to get tossed out the show like your man Matt Scherzer up in New York. I don't understand,
Yeah.
but
Goop Master
ain't
Max in the
changing every
house.
day.
Yeah, man. You got these umpires is not playing right now, man. They done went from, scheduling these pitcher checks, if you want to call them that, to now they're just doing them, spontaneously. And Max Scherzer got thrown out of the game for having a substance that we will call around these parts. We're gonna call it what, Yada?
It was goop.
Goop.
He had some goop
Yes, we're gonna call
on
it
his
goop.
glove.
Yeah.
But
So
Matt said no.
it's
It's just
it's it's
some
resin.
resin.
It's the resin bag. It's the
It's some
rosin
resin.
bag.
What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
That's it.
Said,
Man, listen.
nah, that's goop.
That's Goop
You're
said.
out of here. He even showed a picture. He said, hey, nah, you're out of here.
That's what,
So,
get your goopy ass out of here.
get your goopy ass out of Go
Listen.
back to the clubhouse with that goop.
That's right. That's right. We're in the building, man, live and direct, man. We hit y'all last night, myself and Win Walker, and now we got Yada Bear back in the building. Shout out to Win Walker. He's dealing with some weather situations down there in OKC. I hope he's all right and all that.
Yes.
But tonight we're gonna get into the NBA playoffs. You already know the topic at hand. Draymond Green. And I'm definitely interested in what Yada thinks about it. And I had said to her before when we was in the green room, which is literally the green room tonight, thanks to this one over here. Sending emails to this one. Literally the green room tonight. I ain't mad at you. I wanted to get a natural reaction to her response to that, because I've been hearing all types of excuses and nonsense and people coming out the woodworks trying to defend this situation. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the rest of the NBA playoffs. You got the Lakers and the Grizzlies going on right now. We're going to talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs. We're going to talk some baseball, and definitely get into our opinions of the fight that's coming up this weekend with Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. So, Yada, where you want to begin?
Well, first, before we start with the NBA, I definitely need to give
I got you.
A big congratulations to my QB1, Mr. Jalen Hurts, for securing the bag. And not only was it a nice bag, my man, 179.34 guaranteed, 5-year deal, 255 million. The number is amazing because it's not only a great number for him, but it's an even better number for the Eagles, because he got paid and it was also a very team friendly deal. And this make my man the highest paid player in the NFL right now. 51 million. And people has been questioning, does he deserve this money? Yes, he deserved every penny, because not only just from his play on the field, but as a leader also. He is the leader of the team, and it's very rare to have a young quarterback be able to jump in that leadership role on a team full of vets and Super Bowl champions. For them to be humble enough to rally around him and follow his lead, it speaks volumes of the type of person he is, one, and second, what type of competitor he is, two. He didn't have an easy road, going to Alabama, losing a job in Alabama, on national TV, during the national championship, losing that could, hurt a young player's confidence. And for him to, have seeing, what was happening in front of him, knowing that, all right, well, my time is done in Alabama, let me move on, and use that wonderful transfer portal that has been very controversial around college football, to go to Oklahoma and securing the, QB1 spot there. And then getting drafted in the second round to a team that a lot of people question that draft pick, because we all thought, we had our quarterback when we had Carson Wentz. But little did we know that we had this potential monster on the sideline that was just drooling to get in this game and to show us what he got. And he won us over. He won the city of Philadelphia over. And we are forever grateful for him. And we are very proud to call him our quarterback. So I am extremely happy that he got his money. And the fact that Howie, once again, should be GM of the year, was able to pull this deal off without killing us in cap in the future. See, when we think about, this 255 and 179 guarantee, you think, dang, he gave all the money to Jalen, but he didn't. Because when you think about it, next year, the cap hit for Jalen is only going to be $6 million. And then the cap hit in 2024 is only going to be $13 million. The cap hit in 2025, $21 million. And the cap hit in 2026 is $31 million. So that's still a lot of money out there for us to sign great talent. When we look on the flip side on a guy, I don't know, who I don't really think deserved the money, like Daniel Jones, he's filling the Giants cap. Next year, his cap hit is $21 million. The year after that, it's $45 million in 2024. In 2025, it's $39 million. And in 2026, it's going to be $56.5 million for Daniel Jones. That's
Absolutely
crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy when you look at those two situations right there, how different they are.
Yes.
Then you could throw other things into the mix, other goop into the mix. That you know what I mean. That can kind of like explain the situation further. But I wanted to give some props to Jalen Hurts and his team.
Yes.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? And again, when you explained about how this contract breaks down and how cap friendly it is, to negotiate that, you know what I mean? His team, all women, you know what I mean? His agent,
yes,
he went in there and Clutch Sports. Shout out to those guys, you know what I mean? Rich Paul and all those guys over there. Definitely, he went in there, and I think that it sends a strong message to the other quarterbacks that are potentially looking for deals down the line or potentially looking for deals now, i.e. Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean? And coming from a kid, like you said, you ran down his story. He kind of got gooped on in the national championship game, came back from that, you know what I mean? And went to another school in Oklahoma that was coming off of the Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray era. You know what I mean? And he did what he needed to do over there, and now look where he's at. And for me, a lot of these kids, especially the quarterback position, they put the cart before the horse about what they're worth, and they haven't done anything. All right. Mm-hmm. You look at and I say Joe Burrow, he's been in the Super Bowl, right? He's going to have money coming down the line. Josh Allen, what has he done besides lose playoff games, right? Patrick Mahomes got 2 Super Bowls. But then his contract is through a 10-year period, right? Then you got Lamar Jackson, who's looking for a deal, trying to get a deal, right? And everybody gauges their deals and gauges their money off of what Deshaun Watson got. Mm-hmm. And here comes Jalen Hurts, coming from a situation where some people, I'm not going to say their name, oh, well, he's got the arm strength. He's got it. I was saying, and again, I'm not, I don't know pop my collar or nothing, But I said it. I said Jalen Hurts is the truth.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was 200. I didn't know he was $255 million worth of the truth, but he's the truth. Like, you know what I
listen,
mean?
you did say it. Yes, you did.
And again, now Yada, he's got a Super Bowl to fall back on, even though he lost. But look what he did.
Yeah.
Look what he did in the game. So
Second
everything.
year as a starter. Second year as a starter.
Absolutely. So again, I think that is definitely justified. His whole situation is great. You guys in Philly are set. We talked about it behind the scenes. Keep that grease on deck for those polls because you definitely be celebrating. Absolutely. And again, I'm happy for Jalen Hurts because again, if anybody deserved it, it's that guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk a lot. He's not a hey, look at me guy.
Yeah.
And
you know
go
what
ahead.
He is? He shows you what hard work can accomplish. And that's something that this younger generation need to look at because he worked hard for his position, and at the end, it paid off $255 million worth. It paid off big time for him. So this is a prime example for kids to look at. Like, look what he put in. All the work he put in the gym. He's seen that he had an issue.
And what he had to deal with.
And he went and he seen that he had an issue, that he wasn't good enough, and he went out and he worked hard and he fixed it. He saw he saw. We all saw the challenges he had with throwing the ball in the pocket. We all seen it. We all saw the accuracy, the decision making issues. We all seen it, and he was so focused to not be able to overlook it, to see it from himself. Like, oh, I'm not good enough. I need to get in touch with people who have made people great, i.e. Tom Brady. Why not talk to the man that worked with the man that helped him get 7 rings? He got like, come on now.
And the fact that the Eagles went out and got him help. Yes. The AJ Browns of the world, you know what I mean? So it made it happen for him. So absolutely. So it's all pointing to a very, very dope success story. You know what I mean? All I think is just have to finish with a couple of Super Bowl wins, and then you'll figure out who's going to play Jalen Hurts in the Lifetime movie.
Exactly. Listen,
you know what I mean?
This is what a great organization looks like. This is what it looks like when you play for an organization who has someone running it who has brains. Not like what's going on down I-95 with Lamar Jackson. Bro, get an agent. That's it. It's just get an agent. Get an agent, and you won't have these troubles.
And now, for me, as far as Lamar is concerned, if when he does get an agent, the dude, whoever he gets as his agent, they're gonna have to sit down and talk to Lamar and be like, "Look, man, that 230 is not happening."
No,
right?
It's not.
And again, you know what I mean? So again, we talked about the Joe Burrows and the Josh Allens of the world, like, dang, you know what I mean? Jalen Hurts coming and blow the spot up, but the spot that he blew was Lamar Jackson's spot. Lamar Jackson's spot really blown up because now how you gonna come to somebody and talk about you want $231 million guaranteed?
You can't justify it. Like, there's things that you can justify, and he can't justify 230 when you telling me, hey, I don't want to play in this playoff game. My man, you are healthy. The doctors have cleared you, but you don't want to play. Like, come on now.
That's I mean, we got the NFL draft coming up next week. We may have to do a show again next Wednesday because Yada's she's on a deep mission right now. So I think we're gonna have to get caught up do a pre-draft thing because the homie Nick wants to come on and do the draft preview, a draft night show. And the draft I think is next Thursday. The draft is
Yeah,
next Thursday night. So,
yeah,
and me, when I do draft shows, I only do the first round, especially the
yeah,
NFL. Because the first round lasts like 12 hours. So if we do it, we'll come on and just do like the first round or whatever. But if not,
mhm,
we'll definitely have a draft recap. Okay. On our regular scheduled time, and Yada Bear definitely be in the building.
yes,
All
yes,
right. So
yes.
now we're going to talk about what we all came here to talk about. My buddy over there, my co-D is in the house. You know what I mean? We was in the green room, steaming it up. You know what I mean? Not without any goop, mind you. Um, Draymond Green in that situation. Now, we all know what happened in game 2 where, the situation he, stomped, and that's putting it lightly, on Domantas Sabonis' chest, okay, and earned him and got thrown out the game and earned a 1-game suspension. What's your thoughts on that whole scenario?
Well, we know what Draymond do. We know the Draymond antics in the playoffs and stuff like that. Me personally, I don't think he deserved a suspension. I think I think the punishment he got during the game, the favorite two, he got ejected during the playoffs at a crucial time of the game. Um, because if you look at the play, I mean, Sabonis is grabbing his ankle, and
I knew you was
it,
gonna say that. I got something for that. Go ahead.
no, I'm just saying,
I knew you was gonna say that. Go ahead. I got something for that. Go ahead.
you know, he grabbed him on the ankle. Draymond stepped down. He stomped down. Whatever. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Watching the game, watching the first two games, it's been
Mm-hmm.
extremely physical.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
This
That's right.
this is the most physical playoff series that we have in the first round so far. Um, the refs have no control. They lost all control in Sacramento, and the calls have been very one sided. You know,
Let me get my hold on. Let me get my violin. Hold up.
no,
Get my,
it's not.
get my
It,
violin.
it's not. Look, it's not a group of excuses. Anything. It's fact. We
Well,
are
it is. Yeah,
watching
you're
the
right. You're
game.
right. You're right. You're right.
It has been extremely one sided. Um, the way they're calling the game is very favorable for the Kings. It's like, do the refs have money on the Kings?
Uh-oh.
Like it that's the way they're calling these games is how it looked like someone has money on the game. And before that play happened the other day, it was out of control. There was a lot of pushing and shoving down there. Sabonis was getting his butt beat up down the paint too. He was getting beat up, and but he was down there throwing a lot of bowls also.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That wasn't called at all. Pushing in the back several times, jumping over the back, elbows. He was down there getting busy too. But I mean, I feel
Come on.
like the statement, like, all right, if they were to suspend him without the statement that was made, I would have been okay with that too.
Mm-hmm.
Because the fact that he want to say, oh well, his past, he's a repeat offender. No, you can't keep holding the past against somebody. You can't keep bringing up the past. Like he already dealt suspensions, from what he did back there. But you can't just say, well, we're going to suspend him this time because he's a
Of what
repeat
he did
offender,
last time.
and what he did in the playoffs 2019, or what he did, a couple years ago, or because he was chirping at the fans before he left out. Well, if chirping at the fans also violates a suspension, then Westbrook, he should be suspended plenty of times. Dylan Brooks should be suspended plenty of times. So there's plenty of players that we can point at that chirp back at the fans that should be suspended. So if Joe would have just said, you know what, we're going to suspend him.
Joe Dumars.
Yeah, if Joe Dumars would have just said, yeah, we're going to suspend him for what he did on the court for the stump, I'd have been like, okay, it's a bit much, but okay. But for him to say, well, you know, he's a past offender. Adam Silver was in the stands. Like, come on, like Joe, for real, Joe Dumars. Didn't you play for the bad boy Pistons, Joe Dumars?
I knew you was gonna say that too. I was hoping you wouldn't say that. I got something for that too. Go ahead.
Listen, when y'all there punching Jordan and all, and Reggie, all them up in their face, stomping on their feet, elbowing, everything like that, huh? Now because you got a suit and tie on, and you gonna say, "Oh, well, that was a different time. It was real physical then." All right, well, guess what? This is the playoffs. It gets physical, and if the refs is going to call it the way they've been calling it, then you gotta call it the same way. Or if you want to suspend them, just say you suspended them for the stump, and not saying that you suspended him for what he did with LeBron or what he did with and what he did with this guy. Like you can't bring that up. You can't bring up the past.
Okay.
You know, you can't do that. All That's how I feel. Whatever.
Listen, let me get right. Right. First of all, he did that to himself. If you know, I've heard, you know, from the clown gallery. Well, you know, Sabonis had him grabbed around the ankle. Well, how did he stomp the man if he was grabbing his ankle and twisted him? If that was the case, Draymond Green should have been laid out on the floor just like Sabonis. That's number one. Number two, if there was no precedent, then I would agree with the non-suspension. Of course, if you got precedent, kicking Steven Adams and, you know, and preventing Golden State from winning the title, you know, having to go at the crowd and before you got off the court. And even that situation is kind of serious because you saw what happened in game one when they threw E40 out the game, when he got escorted out of the arena, going at the fans and, you know, that situation, right? That's number two. Number three, for me, it's like for all the, you know, stuff that happened, if you want to call it like that bad boy era, you know, Joe Dumars' name, he was on that team, absolutely. But how much of that stuff can be attributed to Joe Dumars? And for me, if that was the case, why is Joe Dumars in the position that he's in today to be able to make those calls, whether, you know, somebody should be suspended? I think he had a whole bunch of precedent. You're not supposed to bring it up, but if you don't do it, there's no reason to bring it up. And for me, I think one game, you know, again, that's, you know, the same situation happened when in their 73 win season for Golden State when they didn't win the title, when Draymond missed game 5, right? 1 game suspension. And that was way more egregious than what he did to Steven Adams was way more egregious, right? So for me, I'm on the side of, yeah, he deserved it. He was lucky he only got 1 game. And I think that people, you know, try to, you know, say, well, okay, Joe Dumars was on the Bad Boys and this and that and the third. Okay, whatever, right? It's a physical game. You're right. Sabonis was doing his absolutes. I watched every minute of game 1 and game 2. And Sabonis is not innocent by no stretch of the imagination in this case. But at the end of the day, I've heard his ankle was getting twisted. If his ankle was getting twisted that bad, how did he have enough strength and gumption to stomp the man? He didn't step on him. He didn't do the AI and Ty Lue thing. He stepped on that man's chest, right? Like if he would have had some Timbs on, we would be in a very, very different situation right now. So I think, you know, it being Draymond Green, if it was Draymond Jones, then I could see, you know, maybe you came down a little hard on the guy. But I don't think Joe Dumars came down on Draymond Green as hard as Draymond Green came down on Sabonis. Regardless of what the situation is, he should have never done that. If his ankle was getting twisted so bad, he should have fell on the floor, and maybe Sabonis would have got a suspension. Because he did grab his ankle. Absolutely. I think he had both hands on his ankle. So again, but if his ankle was that hurt and that twisted, how did he just, it ain't like he fell on the floor. He stomped the man and walked away.
Listen, it wasn't like he did. Now Draymond did not say that he was twisting his ankle, that it was hurting him. He just
Why did he bring it up?
Well, because the way that he held his ankle down, Draymond was in the process of getting up to running down the court. Mm-hmm. He's leaning forward to run out the court. Sabonis had his ankle like this. Right. Mm-hmm. So he ripped his leg out of his grips, and he didn't look down to where he was stepping. He just stepped down, and guess what? Guess who was underneath?
Let's go, Perry Mason. Let's go, Perry.
Still underneath him because he's still been holding on to his ankle to prevent Draymond from running back on offense, because that's what it really was. He was trying to prevent.
Okay, I see that. I see that
back on offense.
I see that
because when Draymond pulled his leg out, he didn't look to see where he was stepping at. Mm-hmm. He was running. Mm. So that's why when he stomped down and then he jumped up again, because he didn't realize that, this man is still laying underneath me. He's still on his back on the floor, because again, he's holding my ankle to prevent me to run down the court to go back on offense. So if they want to get really funky over it and look at it, Sabonis is the cause of him getting stomped. Mm-hmm. So if you want to suspend, then suspend both of them, or better yet, in the game, Sabonis should have got kicked out the game too. They should have ejected both of them.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I'm with you. That I agree with.
And like I said, and if Joe Dumars still wanted to suspend him, all thing he had to say was, "I'm going to suspend him for his action on the court for stomping on him." I've been fine, but bringing up all that past stuff, no, you can't do that, because then you gotta hold everybody accountable for their pass. You gotta hold everybody accountable, and I think the fact that he has this history, that he's an easy target. He's an easy target for suspension, and he could do anything, and you can just play it out. Act like he hit you harder than what it really was, because if Draymond really would have stumped him, he probably would have a couple cracked ribs or bruised ribs. He ain't got nothing. Nothing's wrong with him. Nothing's wrong with him. He's playing in game 3. He's fine. It's nothing. It looked worse than probably what it actually was. Like, it looked bad to your eye, but he didn't have any bruised ribs. He didn't have any broken ribs. He was the cause of himself getting stumped. That's what happens when you grab people at ankles. Why are you grabbing at his ankle when he's trying to run back on offense? You already pulled me down with you. You already pulled me down with you already, okay? Now I'm on the ground getting up to run back on offense, and you holding on to my ankle.
So you're saying to me, you think that, not to bring up, not to be bringing up the past, but I'm gonna do it anyway. In playoff scenarios, you know what I mean? In preseason scenarios, okay, Draymond Green has a litany, okay, of transgressions. He did some foul stuff, yes. Right? And even in the preseason, this preseason right here, when he snuffed Jordan Poole, right? Listen, to me, yes. hold up. To me, that guy specifically, Draymond Green, should have been walking a fine line, knowing what he was dealing with, right? And this is the most important part of the Golden State Warriors season right here. You're going to defend your championship. You need everybody on the same page, y'all. And I get what you're saying. You're right. I get what you're saying. But at the end of the day, if you got Draymond Green stomping people in their chests and sternum and stuff, what's to say Dylan Brooks is looking at that and saying, oh, okay, well, if Draymond Green can get away with it, and Dylan Brooks goes to the school of Draymond Green, like, who's to say, like, where do we draw the line and say, okay, I'm gonna set an example? And I mean, enough examples have been set in regards to Draymond Green. Where do we draw the line at? What are we doing here?
See, I gotta look at each incident as an individual incident. I can't group it all together because with this particular incident, it wasn't like he went to stomp this guy. And like we keep saying stomp, but I don't even think it was a really super hard stomp. I think he just stepped down on him because he was running.
He stepped down. Oh, okay.
He was looking to run, and he was being held up, and he pulled his leg out, and he was stepping down to run down the court, and this guy is underneath him. So I can't keep looking at every situation, group them all together, and say, you know what? Because you did all of this, I'm going to suspend you. No, this is an isolated incident between these two guys that's been battling all game. And you have to look at it like, well, how did he get into the position to step down on this man? Well, look what Sabonis is doing. See, that's the part that Joe Dumars needed to look at. He just was hearing all the smoke, all the talk, without even really looking like, well, what was the cause of him to step down on him? Well, the cause is because Sabonis is holding his ankle. Why is Sabonis holding his ankle? To hinder him from running back on offense. And what happened? Well, Draymond pulled his leg out and went to go run, and Sabonis is still laying there. He didn't look down to see. He didn't look and say, "Oh, wait a minute, Sabonis' chest is wide open. Let me stomp him down while you're on the ground." No, he was looking to run. He was running. So, like I said, I think Joe Dumars' statement is BS. If you're going to suspend them, just suspend them. Just don't say don't try to pile it up. He tried to pad his books, try to pad extra charges, onto Draymond. No, you don't have to do that. And I think Sabonis should have got a flagrant 2 foul also, and they both should have been ejected because what he did was dirty and unsportsmanlike also. Because what if he would have injured Draymond's ankle? What if Draymond would have came out of that situation with a high ankle sprain? And now he can't play.
Well, he definitely wouldn't have been able to stomp him on his chest if he would have came out of the situation with a high ankle sprain.
I'm just saying, what if something happened, from him holding on? Are you going to suspend Sabonis? Are you going to give him a flagrant 2 foul too? So
I would think so if that was the case.
I mean, look what happened. They didn't.
But then they would go, but for me, if that was the case, he would say, well, Sabonis doesn't have a history.
Yeah, but see, and
again, you can't look at the history of one case and look at the history of the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and that's my point. Is like you can't just look at everything that Draymond has done. You have to look at it as a case by case scenario. He already served his time for what he did in the past. So what you going to add?
I dig it.
You going to add more games for the stuff he did in the past too?
Nope, he's giving them one game. He's giving them one game for what he did in that situation.
Yeah, so it's like, don't look at what he did in the past. He already served his time.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. I feel you. Let's move right along. Let's talk about some better and more pleasant things in your situation with your Philadelphia 76ers. Right? They almost finished putting that broom together, right?
Listen, we just got a couple more. We got two pieces to screw in, and we ready to sweep it down in the Barclays Center. Help them clean up,
Oh man,
close
look at
down
this.
shop. Get it's closing time. It's closing time for the
Mm-hmm.
Barclays Center for them. Okay,
Grand opening, grand
um,
closing, huh?
exactly. I mean, the series is going exactly how we would want it. Um, I'm never really concerned. Game two, they came out hot. They try to spread us out. They played small, but the offense, they can't sustain the offense for all four quarters, and they have no answer for Joel. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you can't play 5-on-1,
Mm.
okay? And that's really how they play. He's constantly double team, triple team, and what I'm seeing from my team is the fact that they're not standing around and watching. They're moving. And
Mm-hmm.
he's recognizing when the double team or the triple team is coming, and
Mm-hmm.
he's passing out of it. He became a better passer out of the double and the triple team, and our guys are hitting open shots. I mean,
Right.
game one, we made what, 22 3-pointers. That was a
Mm-hmm.
record for us. And then
Mm-hmm.
last game, Maxi went off. Maxie had a great game. Tobias had a decent game, and I definitely want to shout out Paul Reed. Paul Reed don't really get a lot of love. He's our backup center. Um,
Mm-hmm.
his development has came along quite nicely. He's able to still sustain a defensive presence when Joel's on the bench. He's very
Right.
active on the offense and defensive glass, and
Mm-hmm.
he's putting up points. So it's very refreshing to be able to get uh
Yeah, so
just about
so
a
refreshing.
double just about a double for my backup center, and
Let's
still
go.
have a defense presence, protecting the rim when Joel was out. So I definitely want to give him a lot of props. um Doc Rivers is actually coaching pretty decent this round. He's not.
No complaints about Doc during the playoffs. Isn't that refreshing?
Yeah. It is very refreshing to see him not allowing Brooklyn to go on these long runs without calling a timeout
And
to
not screwing it
settle.
up either, Yada. And not screwing it up either.
Yeah, and like to settle down the squad and
Mm-hmm.
put in a play, so that we can get a guaranteed bucket and just make the proper adjustments. So it's very, I'm gonna use it again, refreshing to see Doc not out here gooping it up,
Grouping it
because
up.
we all
Let's go.
know how Doc is.
Grouping it up.
We all know Doc has done a lot of things that's
Yeah, even
very
though
questionable
in his what? In his what? In his history?
in his history that we are
Okay.
not going to bring up.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
very refreshing to see him um coaching this way,
Mm-hmm.
and also refreshing to see him relying on the bench, and the bench is stepping up,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't need my key guys to burn themselves out during this series, because the next series is the series that we need to be focused on.
Mm-hmm.
So we need them, Joel and James, refresh for that series. So we're just trying to get out of this series with no
Healthy.
injuries, healthy, and looking forward to closing these guys out, in Brooklyn. I'm hoping we go in and take these next two games so that we can go home
Get some
and
rest.
relax and get some rest. Um, but we're talking about the other series, that Boston Atlanta series, which is non-competitive. The games are boring.
Mm.
Um, Prime example was yesterday. I was
Mm-hmm.
watching some of the game. Boston was up by like 25 again by halftime, 30 by halftime, and third quarter they had a whole bench in. So it was like he just put the whole bench in so that Atlanta could try to catch up to make it kind of competitive.
Mm-hmm.
It was like they was purposely missing shots, purposely not having their stars out there so that Atlanta can, come back, and then they was bringing in the Jason Tatum's and the Jaylen Browns, to make it more competitive. That game's going to be over real fast. I'm pretty sure Trae Young's going to be gone because
he probably won't be the only one.
yeah, Atlanta is just I don't know. It's just very confusing. They 2 years removed from the Eastern Conference Finals.
Mm,
Now
mm, mm.
they fired Nate McMillan, who wasn't the
Mm-hmm.
problem. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is the guy who everyone says, "Oh, he's the next Steph Curry." Oh, no, he's not. He's not even Trae Young. Oh, Ice Trae, so cold. It's like, no, he's a fake
He gonna find out.
superstar.
He gonna find out it's a cold world.
Yeah, again, prime example of the fake superstars, and he's like top fake superstar in the league, and it's ridiculous. Just like his hair is ridiculous, and they and they
Ah,
brought in.
Atlanta Hawks fans sending emails over there.
Hey, the Hawks fans know, anybody with eyes can see that his hair is ridiculous. Like, cut that off. Like, I don't
You need to
understand how
put
you
some goop
bald
on it.
and I can see through your hair. I shouldn't be able to
Right.
see through your
I
hair.
can see. I can see what you're thinking.
Yeah, I shouldn't be able to see that. But like,
Right. Right.
it's just crazy. Like, Atlanta is just exploding in front of us in the playoffs. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, that series would be a non-factor, and then the other series, which is interesting, interesting twist is this Milwaukee Miami series because Giannis is not playing in game 2.
Right.
He got some back injuries. His back is
Right.
hurting, and Miami is smelling blood. They smelling blood, but Miami also is plagued with the injury bug because Tyler Hero broke his hand.
Broke his hand. Right.
So
Right.
he's out of there. So it's gonna be
That's a war of attrition right there. That
yeah,
series.
so now it's going to be a very interesting series where you would think that Miami had the upper hand because
No pun
Giannis
intended.
got some back issues, but without Tyler Hero, I don't know how much Jimmy and Bam and Matt Strus and all them guys, can sustain.
Kyle Lowry, right?
Uh, Kyle Lowry and Luca are the only two guards that's out of shape.
Mm.
Like, how you out of shape basketball player? Like you're a guard. I don't know. It's just weird. He always doesn't look in shape to me to be, I don't know, a basketball player. But Drew Holiday's gonna have to step up. Chris Middleton gonna have to step up. Lopez gonna have to step up. Bobby Porter gonna have to step up. And this is their test. This is to see if the Bucks can win the series without Giannis. Because I think if the Bucks go up 2-1 without Giannis, they might have to let Giannis sit until the next
Yeah,
round.
right. Okay. Okay.
Because if they can go up 2-1
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, if they can go up 2-1, I think they should let Giannis sit for the rest of this series. They gotta win this next game. They gotta win this game. They gotta win game 2.
Yeah, they got to
So,
even it up
so
first before
game
they can go
2,
ahead, right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is a must-win game for the Bucks. They gotta win this game. If they can even it up, and then they go down Miami, and I mean they can test it with him playing in game 3, but I wouldn't push it because you're gonna need him for the next rounds. I would test it, but I wouldn't guarantee him to play game 3. But this game tonight, they have to win it tonight. This is must win.
And what's your thoughts? And that's Yada Bear in the house, y'all. Absolutely. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts on the Knicks and the Cavaliers series?
I mean, when we was picking them, I told you I got Cavs in 7. I feel like it's gonna go back and forth. Game because I know you are such a Knicks fan. I know that's
Absolutely.
your squad. To me, the Knicks is a squad of teams without superstars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, got a bunch of it's a group of really good players trying to find a way. I feel like game 2, the Knicks did what the Knicks do. You know,
Right.
the
Right.
Knicks are a very streaky team, and that's why I picked the Cavs to win in 7 because the Knicks gonna nick, and they did the Knicks thing last night. Like nobody could hit a shot, nobody was getting back on defense. Where was all that at Obi Toppin? All the stuff you was doing in the first game. RJ Barrett, where was RJ at? Where was Julius at? It was a lot of that. It was a lot of missing in action guys.
Where was the bench? Right.
Where was the bench at? Nobody came in, gave him a spark or anything like that. And what I noticed too was the fact that Darius Garland is going to have games like that. He was all over the place, especially in the first half. He had about 24 points in the first half. He's driving, he's getting and ones, he's hitting the 3, and nobody was putting a body on him. Nobody's putting a body on him, and you expect, Tibbs always preaching, defense. Right. Well, I didn't see any defense. I didn't see. I saw a lot of watching. I saw a lot of standing around. I just didn't see him very engaged in the game yesterday, the other day, and you had Danny Green coming off the bench hitting a couple threes. Danny Green got no knees. Right. How you leaving him open?
I ain't seen him since he was in San Antonio.
Okay, then you got no knees out there, and, right. and you let him hit open threes, and then in the second half you just let Donovan Mitchell go crazy. You had Jared Allen out there, just
bullying Julius Randle around. That's right. Mm-hmm.
He was, and then you see Julius Randle get knocked down, and that's when you know he hurt. He going in the back. It's like it was a lot of suspect plays. So, like I said, that series gonna go 7 games, and I just feel like for some reason the Knicks just not gonna close it out when they should. They have on paper. They have all the talent in the world. You got the Bronsons, you got the RJ, you got the Josh Hart, Julius Randle, Obi Toppin. You got so much talent there.
You got to bring some consistency to the table.
Exactly. Can they string up a winning streak like they did in the regular season? Was that the winning streak that they had in them already? Mm-hmm. Did they flare out too soon? Going a little run too soon?
That's a good question.
I mean, they got to show up at the Garden. They have to win game 3. Because the momentum is now in Cleveland. Cleveland has all the momentum right now going into the Garden where they're comfortable. And that's crazy. They got to make them uncomfortable because Donovan Mitchell is comfortable in the Garden. He can't wait to play in the Garden. Playoff time too. I don't know. They got to step it up.
Listen, I'm gonna say this, and yeah, I'm a Knicks fan. I'm not a window jumper. I'm not like none of these new generation cats that you win opening night and you're having a parade in front of the Garden. We're not doing that, right? The Knicks in game 1, all bets are off. Everybody starts off fresh, 0-0. The Knicks came out with a lot of energy, even though it seemed like late in the game they still tried to give game 1 away, but they pulled it off and they won game 1. Mm-hmm. Game 2 was what do we call it? A heart check. right?
Yeah.
And I don't mean, no pun intended. You know what I mean? Game one and game two for me were a tale of two different teams. You had heart in game one. You were pushing the Cavaliers around in game one. Game two, you seem like you left all that energy and all that rambunctiousness in game one. You left it there. You let Cleveland get back into it in their home court. Having them, the Knicks were down by 20 at halftime. Like you said, Darius Garland was going crazy. Jarrett Allen was going. Evan Mobley made a few shots. Right.
Mobley. What's his name? Damn, what is my man's name?
Yeah.
Careless Levert off the bench.
And again,
off the bench was killing him.
You said the right word, the bench play. No presence from Hartenstein. No Obi Toppin. I'm not even gonna talk about RJ Barrett. But here's the thing: we already know going in that this series is going to be long. We knew that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, you make the perfect statement. I think I'm gonna get a shirt that says, the Knicks are gonna nick, right? When they have a chance to kind of make a statement, and going up 2-0 in that playoff series would have been a statement.
Yes.
And I said that when we did our preview. Anytime the Knicks are ahead in this series, we're going to see what kind of team we got. And they were up 1-0, Browski,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So now you got 3 games coming up at the Garden, 3 guaranteed games, right? You got game 3 that like you say, you have to win that game.
Got to win it.
Game 4, are you going to, put your presence put your foot on Cleveland's neck and force them to have to win a game 5, or are you going to let them get back into the series, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, the Knicks have a team of good players. Nobody's great on that team. Nobody is great on that team, and that's not a slight. It just is what it is.
Nah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's still World Wide West, and those guys are still looking for scouring the free agent wire and looking for who they can get to bring into the Garden next season. Right? I get it.
They look for their superstar.
Tom Thibodeau. You're gonna have to preach to these guys that the game doesn't start and stop after the first quarter. You're gonna have to continue to show that energy, that aggressiveness, and if these guys coming off the bench don't want to play, don't have them out there. Julius Randle, you're how did my man Dr. Evil say it? You're a quasi leader. You're a semi leader. You're the Diet Coke of leaders.
Oh,
and no, I say that, and I say how my man said, respectfully, right? So again, shout out to my man, CP, the franchise, Knicks Fan TV, salute. I just can't get into it. I'm not a window jumper, man. I'm not going crazy after each win. I'm not gonna, be down in the dumps after each loss because I call it like I see it, straight like that. And I've been a Knicks fan since 1973. All right, they won a title in 73. I don't remember it. That don't count. But at the end of the day, when you have a team, it's a 4-5 series. It's not 2-7. It's not 1-8. You know what I mean? So again, at the end of the day, you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do. Cleveland did what they were supposed to do last night. They defended their home court. Now it's on the Knicks. You got 3 games guaranteed. 3, 4, and 5. You got 3 games. What you gonna do with them? This is the Knicks. This is the Knicks season right here in a nutshell, Browski. Are the Knicks that team? Are the Knicks that team that won 9 games in a row?
Yeah, and I feel like this game 3, it feels like a must win for the Knicks. They can't come out on a home court flat.
And have to come from behind by 15 in the third quarter. I got you. I definitely got you. I absolutely got you.
They got to come out hot, They got to have the crowd in it. They got to come out playing hard on both ends, because those guys in Cleveland, they can shoot also. And then you got a guy, like I said, and Donovan Mitchell that can go off at any time. And now it seems like Darius Garland is finding his rhythm right now.
Right.
Right now, they have the momentum. You know, you got Carlos LeVert now getting his momentum coming off the bench. You know, Jared Allen regulating the paint. Like he's seen, like, you know, he was getting Hartenstein and he was getting Julius Randle both out the paint at the same time by himself. So it's gonna, the Knicks gonna have to show up, and I need Julius Randle to put his big boy pants on, because he was looking a little soft out there in game 2. He was looking a little soft out there. You know, Jared Allen not the biggest guy.
He had an Atlanta Hawks playoff flashback.
Oh no.
We got a few minutes left. I want to shout out Mike Brown.
Yes.
All right. They gave Mike Brown the Mariano Rivera Award as far as, for the NBA Coach of the Year. 100 votes. All of them went to Mike Brown.
Yes.
Unanimous, well deserved. Where are the people at? Let me see here. What are we doing? Let me see here. Where are the people at that said Tom Thibodeau should be Coach of the Year? Where are the people at that said Joe Mazzulla should be Coach of the Year?
Exactly.
Where are all these people at? Where are these people at, man?
Yeah. Again, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it because it was Mike Brown from day one. Like, it was Mike Brown, because the way that he formed, like I said, behind the scenes, it was a team form of guys that was either a part of a trade. You know, Sacramento was always the third team in the trade. You know, salary dump off here and there. A guy that nobody wanted get dropped off in Sacramento. And he brought all these guys together and formed a team. And he formed one hell of a team. You know, everybody was looking at De'Aaron Fox like, oh, you need to get out of there. You know, you wasting your talents there. You had Harrison Barnes been there for forever.
Right. Remember when he was at Golden State, Harrison Barnes. Every time I see him make a basket in this series, I'm like, wow.
Yeah. So everybody thought he was, he was done. They didn't believe in Sabonis and with the Pacers, they didn't believe in him. Now he come here and Mike said, you know what? I'm gonna make these guys into a team, and he made them into a really good team. I mean, Malik Monk. We all thought Malik Monk was a bust because he was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets, and then we can't realize, everybody that played on the Charlotte Hornets looked terrible until they leave Charlotte Hornets, because Charlotte is a terrible organization. And he come off the bench and he's dropping gems all year long, De'Aaron Fox, he won the Clutch Player of the Year award. I didn't even know there was a award.
Such a thing.
Yeah, I didn't know such a thing. So I guess we're just giving awards. We're just making up awards.
Listen, let's go, Browski. Let's go.
Everybody get a trophy.
As they go along. Yeah, you get an award. You get an award.
He won Clutch Player of the Year. Okay. Okay, so that's something. So now,
on it. There you go.
Yeah. So now that's something, we gotta throw some goop on it, like you said.
Right.
We gotta
goop on it.
We gotta throw some goop on it. So he Clutch Player of the Year. Put some respect on his name. Put some respect on Mike Brown's name. Mike Brown been a fantastic coach for many years for many franchises that didn't really respect his talent. Some organizations let him go too soon. He's been the scapegoat for plenty of organizations also. So now I'm hoping that he found himself a nice home in Sacramento for many years, and that he can keep thriving and see how far he can take these Sacramento Kings, because is the star is bright in Sacramento. They got their beam. The beam is shining, and they have been in the playoffs in over
16 years.
16 years since Chris Webber and Lolly Divac,
Mike Bibby,
Doug Christie, all
right.
So
that's right.
So now it's great, to see Mike Brown being the top guy there. I saw he had Doug Christie on the bench, one of his bench coach. It must feel great, for them guys to now see this organization thriving again. And hopefully they can get over the curse, you know, those the Chris Webber curse.
Listen, I feel like, with Sacramento in their situation, I feel like, they're still, stung by what happened in Game 7 against the Lakers many, many moons ago.
Yes.
And I think that they want to, get that bitter taste out of their mouth. Because again, you can talk about it all you want, but everybody, if you, up and down the line, if you talk to people and they look at that game and that series, they be like, they shake their head like, wow, yo.
Yeah,
You
that was
know what I mean?
hard.
Yeah, that's a hard one to swallow if you're a Sacramento Kings fan.
Yeah.
And, even during the lean times, that fan base would come out and support, you know what I mean? So they deserve everything that they get, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And again, we feel like at this point, the playoffs, this is the first round. A lot of things are happening. A lot of players, star players, are getting hurt. And again, I feel like whoever's can limp to the finish line, we'll see them. We'll see them. The first week of June. And again, it's going to be interesting to watch. Very, very interesting to watch. If you want to chime in, we're definitely on Facebook, Down to In Sports Talk. We have, topics to discuss every day. If you want to get in on it, Yada Bear's in the building. She throws a lot of stuff out there. Shout out to Easy. Is that Easy? Does that say her name right?
Oh, Ez.
Shout out to Ez, yo. Salute, yo. We appreciate your contributions, Queen. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Yeah. So keep doing that. Keep them coming. We're not even going to mention any of the other, sports groups or whatever, because they just talk just to be talking. They want to be funny and stuff like that. But we'll leave that where it is. Stanley Cup playoffs, right? The Boston Bruins got to get it together, right? And again, we talk about curses. We talk about jinx. We talk about goop. The Boston Bruins coming into this playoff series against the Florida Panthers, the President's Trophy, which means they had the most points in the season. I think it was 135. They broke the record for regular season wins. I think they had 64 wins. All the pressure is on them. And I don't want to hear from these people all of a sudden talk about, well, they got injuries to deal with. If you watch the Boston Bruins in the first 40 games of the season, they were dealing with injuries. Pasternak was hurt. Linus Ullmark, I think, dealt with an injury. All right. Charlie McAvoy, right, dealt with some injuries and stuff like that. So, again, I don't think that the Florida Panthers, even though, they had a great season, right, they're not on the same level with the Boston Bruins. I'm not saying the Bruins should sweep them, but this should be a series like for the Bruins, how the Boston Celtics are playing Atlanta. It should be like a glorified practice. Let them get ready for the next round. Keep everybody fresh and, keep the energy up and keep them warm for the next round in the playoffs. Right now, with about 6 minutes to go in the second period, the game is tied 1-1. And Florida scored first. Not casting no aspersions on what could happen in this series. But again,
update is actually 2-1 now.
It's 2-1. 2-1. Yep. Okay, we got an update. Oh, look at that. Yada Bear is a hockey fan. Look at that. Salute. Yeah. So now, thanks to the ubiquitous Yada Bear in the building, Boston's got some adversity to deal with. So how are they going to come back from, being down 2-1 at home in a series that they're supposed to not dominate, but they're supposed to win at the end of the day? You know what I mean? At least go back down to Florida up 2-0. You know what I mean? But that has yet to be determined. The Islanders are tied with the Hurricanes in game 2. Third period is tied at 2. Let me give an extra strength shout out to my New York Rangers. All right. The Rangers did their work against the New Jersey Devils. All right. At the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. A lot of people, and I'm not going to mention their name, we like to call them Yakubians, right? They beat their chests. They have mosh pits before the game, and they're jumping around and beating each other in the head. And soon as that game is over, and they got to walk back across the street to Penn Station. Now, this is downtown Newark, New Jersey now. This is this is downtown Newark, New Jersey. Now, you just got to beating your chest, having mosh pits, talking all this rah-rah madness.
Beating themselves up.
That buzzer sounds, and the game is over, and everybody get their coats and get ready to leave and head out to Prudential Center and go. It's across the street, Yada. Literally across the street. Let me see, the great philosopher Prodigy, may he rest in peace, said they're shook, scared to look.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, we like to have some fun over here, but shout out to the homie. 75 stitches.
Oh, I was just thinking about that. Yeah, from the Jets.
From the Winnipeg Jets. Yes.
Oh.
The Winnipeg Jets, 75 stitches.
Yo, that's one of my biggest fears about ice skating is falling down and either someone slicing my fingers off or cutting me somewhere in my face. This man got 75 stitches in the first period.
Over the eye, kid. Yeah. Over the eye.
And then came back the second period to win, to play.
Like it was nothing. Like it was nothing. No, listen, Yada, I dig it. I'm going to tell you something. I got 27 stitches right here. 27 stitches in my chin, right? And every single one of them, I remember it was like, 3 o'clock in the morning when the doctor lady was putting them in. I was more concerned about what color they were because they were dissolving. They were the dissolving joints, and they were blue, right? And like I was, in shock or whatever the case may be. My whole shit was open like this, Yada. My chin was open like this. I got 27 stitches right here. And I got right here. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got nothing on him. He got 75 stitches.
Over the eye.
Over his eye.
That's crazy.
Like, you know what I mean? And all respect due. So again, hockey's definitely a tough game. Shout out to everybody that does their thing. Shout out to my man that rocks with the Edmonton Oilers. All he talks about is Connor McDavid.
Yeah, I've been hearing that name. People been saying that he's the greatest hockey player ever, and I feel like
no,
like 26. I said I don't even watch hockey that much, and I know that that's untrue because
that's cool.
You got guys by the name of Wayne Gretzky. You got a guy by the name of Alexander Ovechkin. Like I know,
yes, absolutely.
Certain guys. I'm like, whoa, well, why this guy is everybody's been saying like he's the greatest thing. I'm like,
because again, like you said earlier in the show. These new jacks or whatever, they go with what's in front of them without doing their history or homework. I mean, when you talk about Connor McDavid, he's the most exciting player maybe in the league right now. No disrespect to Austin Matthews, the Toronto Maple Leafs, you know what I mean? And a couple of other players, Nathan McKinnon from Colorado, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of guys doing their thing. But when they talk about that guy being the greatest ever, you got, like you mentioned, Wayne Gretzky. You had Yari Curry. You had Mark Messier. You know what I mean? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's so many guys. That's why I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like how?
Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is, and I've learned in the year that we've been doing this show that you can't really argue them down because they're going to talk from their level of understanding, and they don't do their homework. They don't do, they don't go back and look at, what came before. They just look at what's in front of them right now. And I understand it and I get it, but that's why we're here down in Sports Talk to have these conversations. Now we're going to get into the part of the show that I think that we've been waiting to talk about. Saturday night in Vegas. It's about to go down. You got Javante Tank Davis and King Ryan Garcia. I saw a IG Live post that Tank was talking to Ryan they were on IG Live, and
Yeah.
Tank brought up the situation in regards to, let's win and take all. And Ryan Garcia was with the SHITSs. He was with it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
For me, and I'm going to get Yada's opinion on this. I mean, it's his money. He can do what he want to do with it. But like you said, the politics and the optics of it might not allow them to do that. We're going to talk about this fight for a few minutes before we get out of here, and get our opinions, because Saturday is fast approaching. I'm interested in the weigh-in. The weigh-in is going down on Friday.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on the fight, and who do you see winning this fight?
I'm excited for this fight. This is the fight that we deserve. We have been watching a lot of one-sided bad fights. Guys not want to fight each other, or promotion teams are getting in the way and they don't want to make the fight. Right. Someone want to be top bill. Somebody want to get more than
right.
Like we said, the politics of the things. So to see that these two guys in their prime is stepping up to the plate to fight each other, is amazing. It's great. It's great for the sport, and I can't wait to see Tank knock Ryan out. I say 8th round.
Okay.
I see in the 8th round, was we all seen the history of Tank. We all know Tank get busy, but it seemed like after that 6th round, he just goes to another level, and it's like 6, 7, 8, somebody getting knocked out. Nobody's seeing 12. Okay, I don't think Ryan wants to see 12. I think 8th round, I think he's gonna knock him out. We already seen Ryan, get knocked down. If was going to have a little bit more power in his punch, he would have knocked him out. But that's here or there. Tank, always have been on the disadvantage end because of his height. Like he's saying, Ryan's reach hand. Well, we already seen Tank fight. De La Cruz. De La Cruz was tagging him up.
I'll be trying to tell people, watch that Santa Cruz fight. Watch it.
Yeah, Santa Cruz.
Well, watch that fight.
Oh my God! When I say he was tagging Tank up, he was tagging Tank up.
Did I not? Go ahead. Go ahead.
And then that's when we know, like we said, round is always after that 6th round. Tank was able to get inside, and we start working right inside, and that's when we know De La Cruz is out of it. It was like,
put him to sleep.
I don't know what happened. Yeah,
put him to sleep.
He put him right to sleep. Yep. Like I said, we have seen him, take on many guys who has longer reach, height advantage, all the advantage against Tank, and he just been destroying them. And we have yet to see Tank go down. So
or really be in any real trouble.
Yeah, like we have seen him get knocked around here and there, but he always seems to manage, like you said, to get himself out of trouble, collect himself, and go right back to work
and finish the job. Right.
Absolutely. So I am expecting him to do this. I'm expecting this weigh-in to be lit.
Yeah.
Separation. I'm expecting a lot of
crowd
shit.
Gonna be crazy. Yep. That's right.
I'm expecting some blows to be thrown somewhere. You gotta hype up the set.
Listen, Browski. The real deal Holyfield is going to come out at the weigh-in. Everybody was nice at the little press conferences and try to big each other up and talk about this and talk about that, how good you are, how exciting it is for the sport. Friday, all that is dead. All that is dead. You got to get down to the real deal. You can't do this. You're going to get knocked out. You came in here talking ish. This and that.
Put your money up. Put your money up.
Put your money up, son. In my opinion, I think that, we've seen, Tank Davis be great. We haven't seen the best of Tank. And he said it himself, right? I think that you mentioned it, Ryan Garcia getting touched up a little bit by Luke Campbell early in that fight against Luke Campbell. That's still in the back of Ryan Garcia's mind, right? I think that, as we get closer to the fight night, the anticipation And we're going to be able to kind of gauge it from the weigh-in. That's why you said Friday. The weigh-in is going. I'm watching the weigh-in.
The weigh-in.
I'm going to be watching the weigh-in. And again, Tank has been in these situations before. Guy talking mad drunk, cash drunk. You know what I mean? About what he's going to do, and the fight's going to be over in 2 rounds. Rolly Romero, right? And again, Tank does his job. Tank. Yeah. The only thing I see, is that okay? Who's that? Schrader is down. The only thing I see a little bit with Tank, he can't come out and be a slow starter. He has to kind of like find his way early. Not to say go for the gusto early, but again, not getting to no slug out. Figure it out. That's why I'm saying, the last couple of fights that Tank has had, he knocked out Rolly Romero in the 6th round. Mm-hmm. He knocked out Leo Santa Cruz in the 6th round. Yeah. He got the other guy, Garcia, out in the 6th round. Yeah. So for me, I'm looking at this fight and I'm saying if we can see how this fight is going to go by, let's say, round 3 or 4, right? If, the fight is not going to be one-sided, it's going to be a fight where, again, we're watching to see how Tank responds to adversity. Because, again, Ryan Garcia is, this is going to be the most skilled fighter that Tank has been in the ring against. You know what I mean? Yeah. From watching if you haven't watched the Leo Santa Cruz fight, people, please watch that fight before Saturday night. Right?
Yeah.
You got to watch that fight because, again, Leo Santa Cruz is dope. I like Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
He's always smiling. He's, you know what I mean? He represents the game very well. He represents himself very well. He represents the sport, his family very well. But again, at the end of the day, Tank figured him out, got in the mix with him in that corner, and set him up and came with that uppercut, and it was lights out, game over, sleepy time, and all that. So again, Ryan Garcia has that to think about. And if you don't think that Ryan Garcia is not thinking about that, then you're not paying attention.
Yeah, so and a lot of people, keep talking, like Ryan Garcia just gonna go out there and just wash him. But yes, Ryan got fast hands, but Ryan don't have that power. It's gonna take a lot to put Tank down. And I don't see Ryan doesn't have that much power behind those punches. And he gonna feel some power behind Tank punches.
There you go. He can give it, but is he gonna be able to take it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, the winner take all thing. I think Tank just reeled them in, like, oh word, this is what we're doing. Winner take all. I would love to see that. Then the hype for the fight would go through the roof. Winner take all, like word. You know what I mean? And I don't know if you saw the IG live, you saw Tank's eyes when he said, winner take all. And Ryan Garcia was like, I guess he was driving or riding or whatever. He was like, yeah, okay, we could do it. And Tank was like, what? Winner take all? What? He said, let me get Al Heyman on the phone right now. He was going to call Al Heyman. But for me, I think that, the 6th round, watch and see what happens. But I think it might go a little bit past 6. And I'm with Yato on this one. Let's say about the 8th round, he gets Ryan Garcia out of here. All questions will be answered. Tank Davis will represent and have his championship. And then, we can, get Ryan Garcia out of here. He made his money or not. You know what I mean? In this case. But we'll see what it is. Saturday night is going to be a dope event. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you check out the weigh-in on Friday. And do what you do. This is Down to In Sports Talk, y'all. We appreciate y'all every Tuesday night. All right, 8 to 9 p.m. We are in the building. Next week, Keith Avalon will be on. Next week, definitely he'll be on. Let's help us celebrate our 1-year anniversary. And it's been a year talking with this person over here, bringing that knowledge to the table. All those other people, y'all fluff another. Y'all was goop. You know what I mean? No disrespect, but it is what it is.
Right? Who would have thought?
Absolutely. This is what happens when great minds come together. So again, Down to In Sports Talk. Get at us on Facebook. Get at us on Twitter. We definitely around on Twitter, StreamYard, YouTube, and all that. Check out the channel. We appreciate all the subscribers who've been rocking with us. And Y'all enjoy your evening. Get ready to watch some more playoff basketball. Don't go nowhere, Yada. And that's what it is. We out, and we'll talk to y'all next week. All right. Be peace wherever you go. This is Lefty Nights, aka RM Des. That's Yada Bear over there. All right. We in the building. Right. We'll talk to y'all next week. Be peace.
Peace.
Goop, y'all. That's the word of the day.
Goop.
Word up.